which has been co-opted by the pharmaceutical industry.
So you're telling the American people that the American Medical Association, representing hundreds of thousands of people, have been co-opted and that they should not trust their doctors.
And I'm
the American Academy of Pediatrics, and by the way, just for the record, every single Republican, I don't mean to be political here, Mr. Chairman, has received PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. Are they all corrupt as well?
And I'm telling you, the American Heart Association has been co-opted by the food industry.
Everybody but you, Senator. But you know what? When you ran for president, we have a corrupt campaign finance system. Maybe you will agree with me on that.
This wasn't just another hearing exchange. It turned into a direct confrontation over science, trust, and public health as Senator Bernie Sanders pressed RFK Jr. on vaccine claims and institutional credibility. What unfolded highlights a deeper debate shaping national policy.
President Trump, who I don't usually agree with, called COVID vaccines, quote, one of the greatest miracles in the history of modern-day medicine that saved tens of millions of lives worldwide. Scientific community agrees with Trump. Lancet study found that it prevented almost 20 million deaths during their first year of use. Secretary Kennedy, are President Trump and the medical community right, or do you still believe that the COVID vaccine was, quote, the deadliest vaccine ever made?
No, first of all, I didn't say that. I said that in terms of affairs reports a while ago. I've said today, I think that President Trump should get the Nobel Prize.
So who's right? Is Trump in the medical community right, or are you right?
President Trump did an extraordinary piece of leadership.
Is he right or wrong? Did COVID save millions of lives?
As I said, he got Americans back to work. At that time, that particular vaccine, which perfectly matched the virus that was circulating then, and I have no idea how many lives it saved, but it saved quite a few.
What I find a little bit weird in this discussion, I'm hearing it over and over again this morning, Mr. Chairman, is we've got the entire medical community on one side. You got the AMA, representing hundreds of thousands of doctors, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Public Health Association. All of these organizations are telling us that COVID vaccine and vaccines in general are safe and effective. You are casting doubt on that. Who are your who are the organizations that are agreeing with you and casting aspersions on vaccines?
The primary advisors are Marty McCary, Jay Bhattacharya, Dr. Oz, Vinay Prasad.
So you got a few doctors who agree with you, and I'm giving you the name.
Not a few doctors. What you're talking about is there's a big difference, Senator, between established science and the scientific establishment, which has been co-opted by the pharmaceutical industry.
So you're telling the American people that the American Medical Association, representing hundreds of thousands of people, have been co-opted and that they should not trust their doctors. And the American Academy of Pediatrics, and by the way, just for the record, every single Republican, I don't mean to be political here, Mr. Chairman, has received PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. Are they all corrupt as well?
And I'm telling you, the American Heart Association has been co-opted by the food industry.
Everybody but you, Senator. But you know what? When you ran for president, we have a corrupt campaign finance system. Maybe you will agree with me on that. Okay, you were running for president, you got a billionaire behind it. You received $300,000 from people, not from the industry, people in it, as I did, from individuals. You corrupt. President Trump got $3 million. Every Republican got corporate PAC money for the pharmaceutical industry. Democrats as well. Everybody is corrupt, but you? Is that what we're looking at? I don't think so. And I think the issue now...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, I think you do know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The issue is every time anyone disagrees with you...
Are you saying the pharmaceutical industry was supporting my presidential campaign?
No, I don't think so. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the pharmaceutical industry is a greedy institution which is charging us the highest prices in the world. They are pervasive. But to suggest that every institution, the AMA, the pediatrics people, is corrupt because they disagree with you is an insult to the American people.
Listen, people disagree with me all the time. I have arguments in my agency, heated arguments every day with Jay Bhattacharya, with Marty McCary, with Dr. Oz.
You have given me the names of a few people. I have given you the names of organizations representing hundreds of thousands of doctors and scientists. I yield, Mr. President.
Senator Tillis.
Moments like this reveal how policy debates increasingly hinge on competing claims about expertise and trust. In this exchange, Senator Bernie Sanders pressed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on a straightforward question: whether the COVID vaccine saved millions of lives, as supported by mainstream medical consensus and global studies. Sanders' approach here was strategic. Rather than debating technical data point by point, he framed the issue around institutional legitimacy, citing organizations like the American Medical Association and the American Academy of Pediatrics to underscore the scale of professional agreement. This reframes the discussion from an individual opinion dispute into a question of collective scientific authority. Kennedy's response followed a different rhetorical path, emphasizing skepticism toward what he described as a co-opted scientific establishment and naming individual advisors instead. This reflects a broader populist argument increasingly seen in American politics, positioning institutional consensus as potentially compromised by corporate influence. And that's where the exchange sharpened. Sanders pivoted to campaign finance and influence, highlighting pharmaceutical lobbying power while rejecting the notion that broad medical consensus should be dismissed wholesale. His counter-argument wasn't that industry influence doesn't exist. He acknowledged systemic corruption concerns, but that rejecting entire scientific institutions risks undermining public trust in healthcare itself. This clash illustrates a deeper divide Americans are seeing play out across policy debates. One side emphasizes institutional expertise and peer-reviewed consensus. The other emphasizes skepticism toward concentrated power and industry ties. Neither framework exists in isolation. Pharmaceutical lobbying is a documented force in policymaking, yet public health outcomes often rely on large-scale professional coordination and evidence review. That tension creates the friction we witnessed. Politically, exchanges like this matter beyond the hearing room. They shape messaging to the public about vaccine confidence, trust in medical institutions, and how policymakers frame scientific authority. Ultimately, this wasn't just a dispute over past statements. It was a real-time illustration of how competing narratives about truth, expertise, and accountability are influencing American governance today. And Americans, as debates like this continue, the underlying question remains: how should the public balance healthy skepticism with reliance on scientific consensus when decisions affect national health and safety?